In today's show, we're looking ahead to Thursday's action in the NBA, players that you can stream in as well. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com and at Yahoo Sports Australia. And you can find me on Twitter as always at redrock_bball and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. This episode is brought to you by TrueBill. TrueBill is the new app that saves you money by helping you identify and stop paying for the subscriptions that you don't need or want, and can even negotiate better deals on the ones that you want to keep. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. So let's look ahead to Thursday's action, what we're looking for, players we can stream for standard leagues, deeper leagues, points leagues. Let's crack in and have a look at the first one, which is the Pistons and the Pacers. I want to watch to see what our mate Dwayne Casey ends up doing with Saban Lee in this game. Lee was really impressive the other day. Is he going to give him that option to be the backup point guard ahead of Corey Joseph again? Killian Hayes is officially questionable for this game. So can we get 28 minutes, 30 minutes of Saban Lee? I'm really excited to see what his playing time looks like. I also want to watch the Flamin' Galah, Alf Stewart.
Is that you, Mr. Stewart?
Well, who the hell else do you think it'd be? Get in here, you pair of flaming galahs.
Because the first game without Jeremy Grant, Stewart played 40 minutes. They were running Stewart because they can't play Gaza. Trey Lyles is terrible. And they were playing Grant at center, so they've got to play Stewart a lot, assuming he stays out of foul trouble. So let's see. Is he a lock for 30 plus? It sure feels like it, so let's watch how that goes. And their opponents, the Indiana Pacers. It is a back-to-back for Indiana. So I want to see how O'Shea Brissett is used. Prior to the game on Wednesday, he'd played, 5 consecutive games of over 20 minutes. Does that hold? Are they going to run him solely in that three-man front court rotation with Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis? That's really interesting to see how he looks. Also watch Sabonis, whose recent form has picked up. He's playing at a higher level. He's shooting really well. The ball is in his hands a little bit more. Is that because Rick Carlisle's been out due to health and safety protocols? I don't know. It is something to monitor, though. The next game, the 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets, with George Niang in the health and safety protocols now, and we don't know whether Curry or Embiid are going to play. They are questionable for Wednesday, and it is a back-to-back. Korkmaz also is questionable. He's dealing with a illness for Wednesday, but there is opportunities for these guys to step up. So is Furkan going to get a larger role? Is he going to shoot better than 30%? That's probably the more important question. And then also the thick hogsman, Tobias Harris.
I think I am a TH?
T to the H.
Yeah, TH for life.
He's been really disappointing of late. Can't really get anything going. The defensive stats that he showed last year aren't there. He's not upping his usage. He's just been like the. I'd like to see him do more than that, especially if Embiid happens to be out. For the Nets, we saw what happened to them. Now, they have signed Langston Galloway, so that is another body into the mix. But can Kessler Edwards get that big run? Now, he played 40 minutes plus last game in that overtime and was great against the Raptors. Double-doubled. I thought he looked fantastic coming off the bench. Can he do that again? I would put some faith in it. I think he's a good player, but let's see what they run with. And then also Cam Thomas, who really disappointed us on Tuesday. I don't think he'll be that bad every night. In fact, he played fewer minutes in that game than he'd been playing in the games prior, and that's when James Harden was ready and available. So I don't expect him to be a 22-minute night guy as he was in that overtime game against the Raptors. So watching Cam Thomas, and do they push him back to 30 minutes, and can he recover from a pretty disappointing showing in a situation where he had that opportunity to show out? The Knicks and the Rockets is the next game that we take a look at. I do want to watch Alec Burks.
Alec Burke.
Recent games from him haven't been the best. but he did play huge minutes last time. We know that RJ Barrett and Obi Toppin and Quentin Grimes are out, so he's going to get a large opportunity, probably starting at the 3 or the 2, depending on how you want to frame it. I believe he's a must-roster player. Let's see if this game shakes my belief in that at all. I also want to watch Nerlens Noel, who is the starting center and can rack up defensive stats, and is making Mitchell Robinson play under 20 minutes a night. Noel becomes an excellent streamer on days like this. It is hard to trust him long-term with his health and his lack of offensive output, but those defensive stats in the minutes that are pushing up into the mid to high 20s, that does make it intriguing. For the Rockets, well, this one's pretty easy.
It's a delicate dance in just 17 steps.
We know that the crucifix Christian Wood will be out. Jalen Green and Kevin Porter might be out. Eric Gordon should return. I imagine he's just resting on Wednesday. But I just want to see whether they start Şengün, or if they don't start Şengün, whether they play him more minutes than Daniel Tice, and can he approach 30? I also want to watch Jayshawn Tate. I did have him earlier today on my must-roster list for 12-team leagues on the Waiver Wire show. And that could easily change. He's not that good. And if we start to see that explosive value that he had drop off with the return of players, and the fact that he's not actually dominating at the moment, even when they're out, it's a little bit of a cause for concern. So how he is used and what his playing time looks like here is of pretty significant interest to me. Not as interesting to me as it is in putting a lineup together on PrizePicks, say, for Alperen Şengün's over-under of points. That's a great one for me to chuck in there. I reckon it'll be pretty low. PrizePicks is the best DFS prop game on the market. Not only do they have all the superstars, which you'd expect, but they have the bench blokes who are playing just a handful of minutes. So when you get that call that David Duke is starting, you can go straight to PrizePicks and go, I'm going to bang him into my lineup. The over-under might be all right for me here. That's one for me to look at. Any props you can think of, points, assists, threes, blocks, rebounds, fantasy points. So go to sign up, get 100% match deposit bonus up to $100 by using our promo code NBA. That's it. You add 2 to 5 different prop projections together. It's just you versus those projections. Combine them into one lineup, and you can win up to 10 times your entry fee. It's so easy, and you can also do mixed sport entries. So download that award-winning app. It's super easy to use. Entries can be done in under 60 seconds. Payouts are safe and fast. Download the app or go to PrizePicks.com. Use that code NBA or download that app. I can't stress enough. This app is easy. It's so easy to use. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. If you're not playing PrizePicks, you honestly don't know what you're missing. A little bit of an extra tag in there at the end. PrizePicks, you sneaky bastards. All right. The Wizards and the Suns is the last game that we're going to look at, and then we're going to do some streaming options. I want to watch Montrezl Harrell because, let's be fair, he's been bad. Like, really, really bad. Outside the top 200 bad over the last 2 weeks. Really bad. Can that change around? Is he better than that? Yes. Is he heaps better than that? I don't know. We saw him put up good numbers to begin the year, but that was also fueled by a run where he was playing 36 minutes a night, which is not going to happen. He is trending towards a drop, but let's see if he can arrest that slide. And speaking of slides being arrested, Bradley Beal's been dreadful. Really poor. Doesn't hit threes. Doesn't even shoot threes that much anymore. Can't hit free throws, apparently. Usage down. Scoring down like 9 points per game or 8 points per game. Any chance to do anything, Bielo? Any chance? Let's see if he turns anything around. Well, for the Suns, with Devin Booker out, the two Cams. So many people have been telling me, Josh, I'll give you a tip on a nickname here. Campaign. You can be the politician because, campaign. Yes. Thank you, guys. That thought had come to me. It just hasn't rolled off the tongue for me, and it just doesn't fit. It doesn't sit right for me. There's got to be something better there with Campaign. I don't know what it is, and I appreciate the efforts of turning Campaign into Campaign and calling him the politician. It's there. It's just not quite hitting for me. Anyway, the politician, Campaign, and Cam Johnson. These are the guys that are stepping up in the absence of Devin Booker, not Landry Shamet, the bloke who's actually replacing him in the starting lineup, which is fair because Payne and Johnson are much better. So let's watch what they do. Will they continue to play at that higher level? 28 or 29 minutes for Payne last game. 30 plus for Johnson. Good value for those blokes in this scenario. There is no back-to-back Thursday and Friday, so we're just looking at options that we can stream in for Thursday, and there's a lot of them. Cameron Payne, number 1 there. Nick Claxton, Blake Griffin, David Duke.
Why should I change? He's the one who sucks.
Kessler Edwards. A bunch of Nets players. You can add those guys. Frank Jackson in Detroit. A great opportunity to look for points and for threes. He can drop them at huge rates. He can also go out there and have 10 points on 12 shots. and 1 combined rebound and assist. That's what he does. And then his teammate, Hamidou Diallo, if I can find the sound drop. I always have trouble finding this one. Where is it? There we go.
Stop. Have a time.
He's going to start for Jeremy Grant, and he is absolutely worth streaming. I don't think he's worth as a must-hold player, but he is worth streaming in these situations. For deeper leagues, a lot of those guys I already mentioned are going to be available in deepers. Blake Griffin, Frank Jackson, David Duke, Hamidou Diallo, Saban Lee. You could probably stream him in 12 teams as well, I reckon. Hal Neto, with the likelihood that Spencer Dinwiddie's going to rest. Aaron Holiday you can throw in there also. KJ Martin in Houston with Wood out. O'Shea Brissett for Indiana. Landry Shamet, if you're really desperate in a 20-team league, he can be a stream option there as well. But you don't have to be desperate to be concerned about losing money to free trials renewing without your consent or without your understanding or even forgetting about that they're happening. There's so much stuff going on and so many subscriptions that we've signed up for. We can't keep a track of everything. That's what TrueBill is for. TrueBill is the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for the subscriptions that you don't need or you don't want or the ones that you simply forgot about. Because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, TrueBill makes it incredibly easy. Just one tap and you're done. Your TrueBill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so you don't have to. TrueBill has over 2 million users and help them save over $100 million. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/lockedonnba. Go right now, truebill.com/lockedonnba. It could save you thousands a year. truebill.com/lockedonnba. And then lastly, we go to points leagues to look at some players who can be streamed there. Nicky Claxton, Cameron Payne, JaVale McGee, the delicate dancer Alperen Şengün still over 50% available in Yahoo. Blake Griffin, David Duke, Hamidou Diallo, Kessler Edwards in that mix too, and Emmanuel Quickley. Could also throw Langston Galloway. I should have mentioned that for the deeper league ones, recently signed by the Nets. Guys, that will do it for me today in the What to Watch For show. Don't forget to follow this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and on the Odyssey app. If you're here on YouTube, thumb it up, leave your comments down below, guys. We are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.